I don't know why, but I have my notes for today, and then I got out my planner from last year and last October, and how different life looked, how different my mindset was. And I just think, we're going to talk about mindset tonight and like self-motivation, but like, it's so crazy how much can change over a year. But I truly think that if we want financial change or we want any sort of physical change, like we have to make that internally first. And it's just, I'm so excited to pour into you guys tonight. So if you have questions, I'll be on the spot and I can answer them. We can start however you want.
You can go right on into it. You're
Okay.
good.
Questions? Okay. All right, great. Here we go. So, and please feel free in the chat. I'm on my phone. This is weird, but put any questions you have in the chat. I think you guys, if you've been on trainings with me, you know how I roll. I'm very like biblical sometimes with my teachings. I don't always come in with like IPAs, because to me, like, income producing activities are great. I love them, but I also know that they don't mean anything when we are consistently showing up, but we don't have that confidence every day inside of us. And what I want to start this off is one thing that has stuck with me for a long time, and I look at it very frequently. And it says, being discouraged is temporary. That's normal. Everyone goes through discouragement, but giving up is forever. And I want you to let that sink in, because I think that people sometimes think that like it's easy, or if like you're a leader or all these things, like it's easy. And I have to constantly, if not work harder than anyone, because like for me to handle what I have to level up into that woman. I don't just sit back every day like, oh, I'm a 200K leader. Like I want to constantly, continue bettering my mind. And that is happening every day with when people are like, well, I'm scared to get out of my comfort zone. Hello, Reels and TikTok, they're the most foreign thing to me. But I know if I want to keep up with the innovation, if I want to keep up with connecting with people, that's not just going to be Facebook Lives and Instagram stories, which I have preached on since I started Lavelle. So you have to understand that social media is always evolving and changing, and you have to keep up with that fire. So every day I do embarrass myself. My first reel completely sucked. My first TikTok sucked, and they probably still do. But guess what? I always talk about this, and I want you to feel the same. We are not in business to be popular. We are not in high school, okay? We are not like the high school girl gang that we're about to be popular. This is about impact. And I think if you want to leave a big impact on your team, you have to be set apart, and you have to understand that a big part of growing a team, I used to think it was money. When I first got started in network marketing, I thought the greatest leaders were the ones who made money. And then I started to realize the greatest leaders were the ones who had the most impact on me with their words, with the way that they taught me, consistency and developing into a leader. And I'm reading a book right now called How to Stop the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts. And it's really funny because, a negative mindset like that spirals, but so does a positive mindset. And we'll dive into that. But I want you to think about every day when you wake up, like a negative mindset. And I'm not going to tell you what I say every day. Y'all know I'm podcasting, I'm reading books, I'm listening to worship, I'm listening to network marketing podcasts. That should already be a given. But I want to talk about when those overcoming thoughts, when you're brushing your teeth and you're like, oh my God, I haven't sold a sample in 6 weeks. What the heck is wrong with me? Or you're getting ready for the day and you're like, dude, I feel so unequipped for this journey. We all have those thoughts, and it's how you overcome them. But here's the thing. When you dwell on that thought, you start doing your mind and your day and your self-esteem a disservice, but we start creating bad habits. I truly think that our habits start like in our mind. So when we tell ourselves like, I haven't sold a sample, I haven't ranked up, blah, 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 like we start sitting in this comfort zone where we don't think that we're qualified and capable of getting better. So we just stay stuck and we think it's okay. And you begin to make this your new normal. And I want you to ask yourself the positive, I don't have on a bra right now, I hope no one can tell, the positive mindset spiral, good habits, good energy. you're in a better mood. How good do you feel when you sell a $150 pack? How good do you feel when you sell 2 samples in one day and you $50 just hit your bank account? Like, how good do you feel when you bring someone on your team and they are so excited about the VIP 800, and it's not someone that's like, how do I post? How do I do this? And it's just someone that you vibe with. What is that feeling like for you? Oh, sorry. Someone just tried to call me. I need you to go back to that feeling and hold on to it. And, I want you to ask yourself what you're craving, because we can't just be like focused on an income. And I'm talking from personal experience because, listen, your mindset won't get better with money. Your marriage, your parenting, your anxiety, the way you feel about yourself, anything that you beautify, like nothing is going to heal your heart and equip you to become a leader in this industry. You guys, it starts in here. And I go back to last October, and it's really funny because I was sitting with my husband right before I hopped on the Zoom, and I want this to inspire you. And I go back to January, and I was showing him, you guys, in January, I literally was paying close to $3,000 a month in medical debt and all this debt. It was awful. I could barely get my head above water because every time I got paid, 75% of it went to debt. So it was just like this never ending cycle where like I couldn't save money. I couldn't spend money. It was just debt, debt, debt. And I felt so called in January to write out all of my financial goals and how much money I wanted to have in my savings account. Keep in mind, my savings account at this time was $0. Okay. I started with a little goal. I said, you know what? By March, I want to have $5,000 in my savings. I didn't know how that was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to, I could barely get my head above water. $5,000 in my savings account seemed out of my ballpark, but I wrote it down. And I wrote my savings accounts down all the way through December. And December is almost a 6-figure digit in my savings. That seemed bonkers. Every single month, I started paying off those debts. I started paying off those credit cards. I started building accounts, and sorry, my dad keeps trying to call me. I don't think it's a coincidence. Can you hear me, Lexi? Are we good? I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, no one can say anything. Yes, I'm sorry. I need to turn my phone on mute. Alex, can you text my dad and tell him I'll call him back in 30 minutes? Every single month, even when I was crying and had tears in my eyes and I thought, I don't think this is possible, but I just feel so called to do this. I've hit that savings account goal every single month. And it started with a little goal. So I need you to get out of your comfort zone, and I need you to start planning out your goals. And I'm not just talking about looking at them and writing them down once and looking at them and being like, oh, this is cool, but actually making that connection and saying, you know what would 10 G's in my bank account feel like? What would it be like to have $20,000 in the bank? Even when you have $17 in your bank account, I don't care. I need you to create this vision for yourself, because that's what's going to pull you. And this is where I talk about the mindset of the negative thoughts spiraling, because if you're like, I could never do that, your mind starts validating all of that, all of those things that you're saying. I could never do that. I can't rake up. I can't get anyone to lock arms with me. I'm not good at this. You keep living in that fearful mindset every day, and that's going to block you. It's going to block you from growing a team. It's going to block you from having moments where your team's winning, where your paycheck is growing. Like, the only way to get your paycheck to grow is to focus on earning your free products credit and teaching your team to do the same. It's not about building to $12,000 in sales by yourself. It is the basics. And how I hit VIP 800, we were popping $200 packs and selling samples and getting people on the $150 pack. That's what we did in the beginning. And my business started to dwindle away when I started to feel like I had to be a boss babe. I had to wear makeup and I had to post a certain way and copy and paste things from Pinterest. And I lost myself, and I'm like, this isn't enjoyable. Like, this should feel authentic. I need to go back to my notes here. But I don't want you to ever wake up and think that you have to fit this kind of mold, or you have to be a certain size or look a certain way. You need to be yourself, because that's when you're going to feel aligned with your work. That's when you're going to feel aligned with your message. And I want you to ask yourself, what is your message? When people think about you and they think about Thrive, or they think, like, when people think about your name, what do you want them to, like, what's going to come to their heart? What's going to come to their mind? And it needs to be bigger than a patch. I want people to think, Katie Coberline, yeah, she's a thriver, but gosh, she's so consistent. She's always talking about how she wants to create freedom for other women. She's always talking about credit card money and Disneyland money, and she makes a lot of money, but she's real humble about it. Like, that's what I want people to know when they think about me. Your mission statement needs to be bigger than just like, oh, I sell Thrive. It needs to be big. It needs to live and leave an imprint on people's hearts. So when those negative mindsets come in, I don't want you to ever think a thought about yourself that God wouldn't think about you. And I learned that in an exercise at Bible study. We had to write on a mirror. You know how vulnerable this is to do in front of people? We had to write on a mirror everything we think about ourselves. I'm broke. I'm in so much debt I can never get out. I'm unhealthy. I'm all these things. And then we had to write, if we were to see through the lenses of God's eyes, how he views us and sees us and created us, what would it be? And it brought me to tears, because I never, ever, ever want to feel not equipped. Like, you're here for a reason. And I know I'm getting a little deep and I'm not kind of looking at my notes, but I need you to know that we overcomplicate this business because we think we have to be some big mass recruiter and salesperson. Y'all, you just got to be the best version of you. That is what it comes down to. Sometimes it's really hard for me to hop on trainings and talk about IPAs, and this is how I talk to people, because I am myself all day, and I don't put this pressure on my business that it doesn't need. I did not check my social media today until 4:35 p.m. I wanted to unplug today and spend the day with my family. You have to stop putting all this pressure that you have to be on top of your messages and your Facebooks 24/7. I would rather wake up, spend about 20 minutes creating a good content TikTok video about my business, share it to TikTok, share it to the gram, get on Facebook for 5 to 7 minutes and interact, and then I'm golden. You do not have to be a slave to your phone. And I want you to create that freedom, because if you were just on your phone and you catch yourself scrolling, you're like putting all this anxiety and all this extra stress and unhappiness. And I think we cause this depression on ourselves. And maybe some other people, they won't talk about this, but I think when you get caught scrolling, like, you're constantly putting your mind and your heart in this depression state. And I'm just going to say it. That's not what your life should be like. You should put out good content and feel good to get off your phone for 5 or 6 hours, get back on Instagram and check your messages, and you're good. Okay. I just needed to get that little nugget out there. So outside of spirals, I want to talk about doubt. And I want to let you know that doubt steals hope. And I think we have to hold on to hope to build a business. And we have to hold on to hope to create that future we want. And sometimes I think that we need a great success story to get people in, right? Or, oh, I really need to hit Auto Club before people start reaching out to me. Do you know one of the most significant post I ever saw in network marketing that kept me hanging on? And Lexi's probably going to laugh because I've said this a handful of times. I saw a top leader post a Halloween basket one morning for her 5-year-old daughter. And it was this cool little bucket from Target, and it had crayons and coloring baskets and candy and all this stuffed animal. And I'm like, I remember having less than $20 in my bank account at that time. And that picture, I knew that every Halloween I wanted to make baskets for my kids. And I want this to hit you in the gut, because sometimes we think we have to like have this big income, and it's like, no, I want to have an extra $30 to spend on my kids for a Halloween bucket. Those kind of pictures and statuses and moments are what held me on through the journey. Not someone's boat, not someone's Mercedes Benz, not someone's big house. Those things were cool, but they weren't relatable for me. The relatableness was when I saw someone being able to go to the grocery anytime, or they were able to host dinner parties or Christmas at their house. That's what I wanted. So can we stick back to the small basic things that we think about and that we want, and stop focusing on big materialistic things that aren't relatable, that you can't take anywhere with you? And get back to the basics of connecting with people. Because when moms are scrolling on their phone, you know how many network marketing posts they've seen a day? How many times someone has already gotten in their inbox? Why are they going to stick? Why are you going to stick out? Why are they going to stop and read your post? Are they going to say, man, 5 people have already gotten my inbox today, and this girl's posting about her house, this girl's posting about her bins, this girl's posting about this, but man, Amanda is really, really, really good at talking about, like, I want to be able to go to the grocery store. I want to be able to not swipe my WIC card. I want to be able to go send someone I love Starbucks, but I don't have that kind of money. Those small things, we can't shy away from sharing those small wins, okay? Because I think we've begun to live in a world where we only think big wins matter. No, when you can buy shoes for your kids, and you used your $50 commission check, that would have brought tears to my eyes 6 years ago. So I need you to start operating out of gratitude. And I think, like I always say, the Bible verse, like if you want, like the Bible says, if you are faithful with few, I will make you a ruler of many. And if you are not faithful, like there was never a time where, when I made $300 a month, which is, how much is that a week? I don't know. It's less than $100, right? Like $70 a week. Oh my gosh. There was never an ounce of me that pulled me out of the game. There was never an ounce of me where I said, I'm not going to make it one day. I never, ever, ever. Do you know how hard it was for me that my leader in network marketing for the first 5 years was making 6 figures a year, and I was making $5,000 a year? That's a big difference. And then my second year, I only made 23,000. Third year, double that. It took me a long time, but I never shied away when I could go buy a new Bath and Body Works candle. I never shied away of those small things that my commission check could do for me. And I think we are like, a $60 paycheck, that's $60 that you didn't have before, that you got on social media for 5 hours last week and made a couple sales and added a new team member in. When you are operating out of lack, it's never going to be enough. And I truly think that if we don't appreciate a $40 check, when that $400 check hits, you think you're going to operate out of gratitude, but you're not. You're going to be like, I want it to be 500. If you can't operate out of gratitude, I mean, Tony Robbins talks about it all the time. If you can't give when you got $10, you're not going to give when you have 100. You're not going to give when you have 1,000. You have to operate that inner leader that wants to be bold and courageous and confident. She needs to be confident with $50 before she's confident with $500. Are you catching my vibe? This is so weird. I'm like looking at myself in the screen. Doubting your capability to lead. That's literally going to run the alignment of all the women that can get in your inbox. And you need to become that rock, that security blanket for your tribe. And the only way to become that woman is you got to get formed with failures. You're not going to get formed with success. You're not going to get formed with all those big wins. I just finished a Bible study, 6-week session. Do you know how much the Bible talks about endurance? And that's we want it now. We want it quick. And we have to develop the endurance that we're going to need to handle that blessing, to handle that next level. Sometimes we want to skip the process of getting formed. And when I relate that to our business, I mean, you show up when no one's gotten your inbox for 5 or 6 days. You continue to go live about your samples, even though you went live and no one reached out last week. I go live and people don't get in my inbox. Okay. I will post that I have, half off shakes and no one reaches out. It's seasonal. It's who sees your post. It's continuing to show up every day. So I need you to get out of your own head thinking that it gets easier when you get more successful. You develop the mindset in the small platform. So when you get handled the bigger platform, your mindset is bulletproof. Okay. Your energy compounds and your thoughts develop your behavior. So I want you to start tackling those in the morning. And I need you to start looking at yourself in your rearview mirror when you're driving, okay? In your bathroom mirror when you're getting ready. And I need you to start telling yourself what you want to become. And I know that sounds cheesy, but when I did my course, I did 3 coaching courses last year. And I swear to you, all of those women talk about, like, you better be speaking positive affirmations over yourself. Your mind believes whatever you tell it. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am debt free. I am a 6-figure earner. I am a leader in this industry. I am an auto club earner. I have a team of women who, whatever you want your mind to believe, you need to start programming it for that. Because if you dwell on that one negative thought all day, what good is that doing for you? You're not even going to be able to get on social media and serve other people when you're just dwelling on that one negative thought. So here we go. Trying. Okay, so I wrote out 2 different sections. So when we live in fear, which fear of being judged, right? Fear of people laughing at us, fear of people looking at our post and maybe not liking it. Trust me, it all goes through my head. But instead of staying stuck in complacency, we can't grow in complacency. It's a false sense of security. Fear, lack. What do we gain when we try? When you get on your social media and you start and you create that TikTok or that reel video about your 3 steps or your business, even though you have to try 9 to 10 times before you get the good one, you get the grit to go again, over and over and over. And I think in this industry, a lot of people really, and I'm not talking about our team, people fantasize this easy route, or people fantasize like, I have the perfect company with the perfect product and all these things, when no one really wants to say that, like, you have to do the hard thing over and over and over and over and over again to create the kind of life that you want. Jim Rohn, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's this really old guy, but he's like a network marketing speaker. And he says, like, you can come in and you can try to take those routes to make the quick cash, and it might look to other people like you're winning because you have it flowing in easy, or you have it flowing in because it came fast. He's like, but integrity and character are what create a fortune. And I'm like, yes, that is what I preach all the time, because even if, we watch these women and they think, oh, they have it easier. Or, oh, it looks so simple. You don't know the mental battles that they face every day. And I truly think to become a 12K leader, a 40K leader, an 80K leader, 200K, and to be strong, where you're maintaining your rank and you don't have to worry about it, and you are getting paid and you're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this kind of money before, and it's consistent and you feel aligned with it. You have to develop the character, because anyone can get there with content, anyone can get there with the right people in sales, but to maintain that, your character and your integrity is going to keep you there. And like I say, like, you have to be an integrity brand promoter. You have to be faithful with the small. And I'm sorry if this is repetitive and maybe you're like, gosh, do you ever shut up about those things? No, because when I sit here and I look at this girl last October who didn't have a savings account and was living in fear and wasn't maintaining her rank and was drowning in people pleasing, the woman I am today versus a year ago, it wasn't an income. The income flowed to me because I became that woman, but I started really taking care of my mind more than I ever have. I started unfollowing people that intimidated me, or I didn't align with, or I didn't want to, vibe with. And instead of seeing someone's volume and saying, why does this intimidate me? I would say, I want this to inspire. And I started having those motive checks, because if someone's success intimidates you, or someone's volume or what they have intimidates you, that's when you need to have that motive check and say, if she created this, I should be able to create it too. And I had to grow from that woman who was jealous into the woman who was inspired. It's a process, and understand it's so worth it to be inspired and not jealous, because let's admit it, we've all been there, right? I mean, I was in the past. I'd say, oh my gosh, she's been in the business shorter than me. Why does her volume look like that? And I had to say, Katie, heart check, motive. There's purpose here. There's purpose to this season. There's purpose to what you're going through. You have to flourish in the dang fire. You have to flourish in the fire. And what I mean by that is in the uncertainty, in the process of discovering your inner confidence, when you feel anxious or embarrassed because, only 3 people are on your Facebook Live, or when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you're going and going and going. You have to flourish in the fire. You have to become in the fire, okay? You don't become outside of it when the light's there and everything's glowing. You flourish and become that woman in the damn fire. So I want you to think about 5 things. I wrote down 7 because that's just how I am. I want you to reclaim you. I want you to reclaim your value, reclaim your purpose, and I want you to write down 5 things. And these don't all have to be business. I want you to write down a couple things that are going to grow you this month. So oh my gosh, it's gonna be November. November 1st gets here, you're going to be a different woman. You're going to be like, who the hell was I October 4th when I was on that Zoom with Katie? I am a different woman. I'm more confident. I'm not operating out of fear so much, but I'm operating out of abundance. That's a whole other Zoom. But I just want you to be a different woman. So I want you to write down a couple things that are going to help you grow, and I'm going to share mine with you in hopes that it'll inspire you. I'm unplugging every Sunday. Sundays are mental health. It's time to be with my family. I'm not checking my social media until maybe the evening or Monday morning. I'm unplugging Sundays because guess what? If someone wants a sample Sunday morning, they're going to want it Monday morning. More scripture and less social. I'm going to set timers. I'm not going to be caught up in Facebook scrolling and learn all the political stuff and all this. It doesn't serve me or my heart or my purpose. More workouts, because for my products to work to their fullest extent, I need to be sweating. I need to be moving. I need to be lifting weights. That's what I want to do. Lots of prayer. Anything where I start to feel overwhelmed in my business and my marriage and parenting and work and anything, I'm praying about it. I'm not overwhelming myself with all these spiraling thoughts that don't serve me. I'm giving it and surrendering it to God. More reels, TikToks, and lives. That's where I need to flourish this month, because if I want to grow my business, I need to keep up with the innovation. I can't stay in my comfort zone of just sharing my products and my stories. Facebook and Instagram, or Instagram, it likes reels, it likes videos, and your posts will get scrolled by. If it's just you with your pumpkin spice shake with your little mug, it's going to get scrolled by. Okay. You need to connect with people. They need to hear your voice and feel and sense and see your passion. And set hours of work. I am so much more productive when I can come down in my little office, whatever this is, in the morning, and I'm intentional with getting my content out. I get a post out, whether that's a reel, a live, a Facebook, whatever it is. I check in with my team in the page, see if there's anything I can do, and then I enjoy my day. You are not supposed to be a slave to your phone. You're not creating freedom to be glued to your phone all day. You are a network marketer, okay? Show up and share content and be bold about where you're going. Some of you, you're hiding parts of your story that you don't want people to see, which that's going to bring you the most badass tribe. That's when women are going to flourish in your inbox and say, oh my God, this is so relatable for me. Tell me more about Thrive. I never knew that you struggled with postpartum depression. I never knew that you left a toxic relationship and you're now a single mom. You're hiding parts of your story that are going to flourish your business. Okay? I don't know if any of this made sense. Lexi, was this, did I get some good stuff out?
Yes, you had me in the entire time. Stop.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope this inspired you guys, and thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you. You guys have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Okay.